Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome back to the Sinquefield Cup in 2022. So we're following now the round 9, we're following now the last round of this beautiful chess event, and all of this tournament was a little bit marked by this whole Hans Niemann Magnus Carlsen drama. Still, I think this was a great tournament for us to watch because we have seen really great sharp tactical battles. We have seen also great theoretical improvements in particular openings, in particular sidelines of openings. So as I said, in my opinion, really a tournament worth to watch, although it has been, as I said, a little bit too much about this whole chess drama. So let's see now what happened in the round 9. In the round 9, Alireza Firouzja played an early draw against Maxim Vachill-Graf, which gave then an opportunity for Jan Nepomniachtchi to be the winner of the tournament if he wins his game against Hans Niemann. But unfortunately for Jan, he missed a simple tactic in the game. He didn't take just one pawn, and I think if he would have taken the pawn, that he would reach a much better position. He would reach a superior endgame. I think if he would have taken the pawn, that he would win the game against Hans Niemann for sure. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened, but Jan didn't take the pawn. Then he only played the draw against Hans Niemann, and after 9 rounds, Alireza Firouzja and Jan Nepomniachtchi had the same point count, which meant then by the rules of the Sinquefield Cup that they had to play 2 additional games and potentially also maybe an additional Armageddon game if of course the tie breaks also end with a draw. So let's see now what happened. We're diving into the second rapid game, the second tie-break game. The first tie-break game ended with a draw. Now we're seeing the second game in which Alireza Firouzja had the white pieces and Jan Nepomniachtchi had the black pieces. So let's see now what happened. It was very brilliant game. So here Alireza Firouzja opened with the move c4. We have knight to f6 by Jan Nepomniachtchi. This is now the Anglo-Indian defense against, of course, the English opening that Alireza played here. So we have now g3, we have e5, and after move bishop to g2, we have now this reversed Sicilian setup where, of course, the pawn is on c4 and now black's pawn is in e5. So we have now c6, and here Nepo is preparing this breakthrough in the center of the board. He's trying now to get really good control of the center of the board. The knight is also supporting the d5, so d5 now really makes sense. But the vulnerable pawn here in the center of the board is of course the e5 pawn, so that's why Alireza attacks it immediately, and he wants now to have a clarification in the center. This is now sort of a provocative move that Alireza played here. So we have now e4, we have knight to d4, d5, and after c takes d5, you can now do 2 things. I think you can take with a minor piece or with the queen here, or you can also take here with the pawn. In my opinion, when you take with the pawn, the problem here of this scenario is that you get the knight to c3. In the later stage you get also d3, and then with bishop to g5 the whole battle will be around the square d5. Look at this. When we play d3, then of course also in some occasions this diagonal could be liberated here, and then still you're attacking the d5 pawn. The knight is attacking the d5. Then after d3 you're liberating your dark square diagonal for the bishop. Then the bishop is attacking the knight, and then it becomes also a battle for the d5 square. So it could be really unpleasant if you take now here the pawn also with the c pawn. So that's why in the continuation we have queen to d5 by Jan Nepomniachtchi. In the continuation we have now e3 protecting now the pawn on d4, and now comes already a tiny little sort of critical moment of the game. Here you have several choices. You can play bishop to g4 attacking the queen, forcing a move of the queen, or you can play, I think, which would be, I think, at least the best move here for black. Here you can play c5 immediately. Okay, white will have his fun with this idea. Knight to c3, kicking away the queen, queen to d8, and finally you have to step back with the knight. But now I think with the move bishop to f5, black can have at least an equal game. Look at this. We have a perfect control of the d3 square, and now maybe with some ideas, maybe knight to c6, knight to b4, knight to d3, maybe even with some ideas of knight to c6, then maybe with c4 we can also maybe make further progress around the square d3. The only move that's good, I think, here for white is to play d3, immediately challenging this central control. After e takes d3, knight to f4, maybe white can grab the pawn back and hope for the best. But at least I think in this scenario, black should equalize the game. So as I said here, in this particular position, c5 was the correct move here by Jan Nepomniachtchi. But he played knight to a6, and he hoped probably to play this maneuver, knight to b4, knight to d3, cementing the knight on the beautiful square and maybe attack the king on e1. But now here d3 immediately by Alireza Firouzja. We have bishop to b4 by Jan Nepomniachtchi. Now after move knight to c3, the problem is now you cannot play the move c5 anymore. c5 is not working anymore for you because you had your chance to play the move c5. Now there's no play with this move because you get this one, d takes e4, knight to e4. Look at this, it seems so that something went wrong here for white because there's simply too much tension around the square c3. The knight is saying also d4, but then you have this beautiful move, queen to a4, attacking now the king and also attacking the bishop, bishop to d7, and now we just grab the bishop here. We have knight takes b4, and now we just grab the queen too. And the problem is now you don't have this fork, you don't have here the fork on c2 because the knight is still controlling this this d4. If you take, of course, the knight, then we'll take out also here the knight on b4, and white is much better. White has an extra piece. So see, c5 is never working anymore in this particular position. So after move knight to c3, here Nepo took the knight with the bishop, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and now here knight to c5 here by Jan Nepomniachtchi. He's now attacking the pawn on d3, and this is really wild position. I'm sure that maybe Jan Nepomniachtchi and Alireza Firouzja have something like this at least prepared at home. But now Alireza makes again a good reaction. He plays now the move c4. You can of course play also d takes e4, continue the pressure, but I like c4 because still knight takes d3 is not working because we'll simply take queen takes d3. Now you take, and we can also take out the queen. Again, we have this position where white is having an extra piece, so this is again completely winning here for white. So this is not working. So that's why after move c4 we have queen to e5 by Jan Nepomniachtchi. We have d takes e4, and now knight to e4. Okay, let's stop and evaluate a little bit the position here for both sides. So okay, obviously white has the bishop pair in an open game. This is very good, but black has a good control with his two knights, with the centralized queen. The bishop will eventually come into the game. There is also this tension here by the queen against the rook, so if the knight moves, the rook on a1 can be endangered. But I still think this should be better for white, especially because of the beautiful bishop pair, because of the opportunity to play on both diagonals. Then also we have the opportunity maybe to include the rook into the game. We can play rook to b8 and similar stuff. We have to of course be careful about our c3 square, but so far I think this should be a better position for white. So in the continuation we have kingside castling, c5 by Nepo. You have to play knight to b3 in order to protect your rook here on a1. We have kingside castling, and now f3, knight to d6, and now e4. Very nice move here by Alireza Firouzja. Alireza is saying, I'm giving up a pawn, it doesn't matter, but I will create this pawn storm, f4 e5, then include the bishop into the game. Black has a certain lack of development here because the bishop hasn't participated in the game so far. You cannot include the rooks into the game. So far Alireza is saying, take the pawn, but I will destroy you with the pawn storm. Let's see what happens. For instance, if you play knight to c4, then we play f4. You have to step back. We can play queen to e2. Look at this. E5 is going to happen. The knight is hanging. You have to again lose the tempo. So again, in my opinion, a much better position for white. Although in this scenario, white would lose a piece. But after move e4, here queen to e7 was played by Jan Nepomniachtchi. He didn't take out the pawn on c4, and now comes the really critical moment of the game. Here white is already winning game immediately. Here Alireza Firouzja played a brilliant move. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the tactic that's winning here for white. It's really wild what happened in this game. Okay, the winning move is e5. You're playing a fork against both of these knights, and now if queen to e5 happens, then you have bishop to f4, and the knight is unprotected here on d6, so this is not working. So that's why after move e5, here we have finally knight to c4 by Alireza Firouzja, by Jan Nepomniachtchi. Jan had the opportunity to take out the pawn move earlier. Now he's taking the pawn, but it's of course not working because here Alireza simply grabs the piece. We have queen to f6, and this is now completely winning here for Alireza Firouzja. So we have queen to d5, attacking now also the pawn on c5, bishop to e6, queen takes c5, we have now h6, creating some breathing spaces for the king, f4, and now rook to d8. Even if you play something like rook to c8, it doesn't matter, we'll simply take out this pawn. So in every scenario, I think white is winning here for sure. So we have here rook from a to d8, we have f5, bishop to f5 is not working here because you just lose the knight here on c4, so this bishop was here connected to the knight, so that's why you have to play b6, kick away the queen. We have queen to c7, rook to c8, and now queen to f4. Here Alireza found a beautiful maneuver how to include the queen again into the defense of the f5 pawn. So we have now bishop to d7, queen to d4, queen takes d4, knight to d4, a very nice simplification here by Alireza. Now the queens are off the board, so there's no way that black is winning the game. Now the tactics are off the board. So we have here rook from f to d8, pardon me, bishop to f4, we have bishop to a4, and now knight to f3, simply rerouting the knight. We have bishop to c2, attacking now the pawn. We have g4 here by Alireza, knight to b2, knight to e5. We have bishop to a4, rook from a to c1, including now another piece into the game. Rook takes c1, rook takes c1, f6, kicking away the knight, knight to g6. The knight comes on a beautiful square. In the continuation, knight to d3, and after rook to c7, in this position, Jan Nepomniachtchi resigned. So really wild game. What to say? But here Nepo blundered, but I think Nepo played an accurate opening. Alireza outplayed him in the opening, in this English opening, in this Anglo-Indian defense. Now with this win, it makes now the current result that Alireza Firouzja is the winner of the Sinquefield Cup in 2022, and he is now the winner of the Grandmasters Tour of 2022. Congratulations to Alireza Firouzja. He played an awesome tournament. He lost some games also in this event, but he won also many games, played really aggressive chess in one particular moment of this super event, and is now the deserved winner of the Sinquefield Cup in 2022. So congratulations again. As I said, in my opinion, still this was a great tournament, although it has been a little bit too much about this Hans Niemann Magnus Carlsen drama, but you should really analyze many of these games. I think we have witnessed really great attacking opportunities in some openings, in some particular sidelines. So in my opinion, it's still really a tournament worth to watch. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this event. I hope that you enjoyed this game, and I hope that you enjoyed also my coverage of the Sinquefield Cup in 2022. If you want to see more about this tournament, check out also some games that we have seen before, that we have analyzed also in the super event. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.